All right, guys. Hi. Welcome back to your June housing report. We're going to take a look back at the numbers and see exactly what happened in the month of May with all the craziness of the coronavirus and the lockdowns and then the civil unrest that happened. Quite extraordinary times that we're living in, and we're going to see how it's affected the Las Vegas housing market. And we're also going to make some predictions about what's going to happen in the future. But I think we have mostly good news today. But let's jump into it and take a look. The first thing we're going to look at is the Altos market report. This is what we've been taking a look at first. And then we're going to jump into the data by the Las Vegas Realtors. The numbers are actually going to be a little different. Not surprisingly, two different sources collecting data. Numbers never match up perfectly. But I do think the narrative that both of these reports put together is kind of very similar. So in that regard, it's going to make sense. So first, though, we're going to talk about the median list price here. Now, it has actually gone up from the last time we looked at it. Last time we looked at it was May 21st, and the median price was $368,888. The fact that the median price has gone up is potentially good news, or it could just mean that some of the homes on the a little bit higher end are the ones that are selling. So the median is the exact cutoff where half of the homes sold for more and half sold for less. So in itself, it doesn't necessarily mean that home prices have gone up. It just means that more expensive homes potentially are selling. And again, it's not a drastic difference from last time we checked in, but hey, we'll take it. We need some good news, right? So next, we're going to look at the price per square foot. Now this, again, not in itself is an indicator. It's not be all end all, but it actually did go up also from 180 last time we checked in to 182. Days on market have increased. So we were sitting at 105 last time we checked, and one more day on the market. When you're listed, I know that can feel like a big deal, that one extra day, but slight increase on days on market. Price declines has stayed exactly the same since we looked at it last on May 21st, 34%. Price increased. So homeowners increasing the price has actually been reduced. It was 4% last time we looked at it. Now it is at 3%. So 3% is not significant either. So hard to make a determination about what that means. Maybe people are just listing at a more realistic price. They want to get the home sold, because these numbers are the first month into the lockdown. So most of these homes that have been sold probably were after the lockdowns had begun, and some of them possibly a little bit before. But you know, obviously, if you're going to list during the lockdowns, you probably want to list at a closer price to what fair market value is, and that means you don't want to have your home on the market for a long period of time. So it makes sense that there's less price increases during that time. Relisted, the number's exactly the same, 8%. Inventory has gone down according to the Altos market report. So last time we took a look at it, which was again May 21st, the number of homes on the market were 4,219, and now it's gone down to 4,090. So again, as far as price stabilization, less inventory, still relatively strong demand, that's going to be good for pricing. And we had a price increase, so we'll look at exactly what happened there in a minute. Rents have gone down again. Sure, landlords looking for people that are just going to pay the rent rather than trying to push for the very maximum rent that they can get. $18 million is still the most expensive home in Las Vegas. And I don't understand why people are not out there buying more expensive homes trying to beat this record. No, just kidding. That's a pretty good sizable home. So again, that's probably going to stand for some time. Least expensive has not changed since the last time we looked at it. That's $116,899. But the most significant thing that we're going to look at on this report is the market action index. So even though inventory has gone down, median price has gone up, the market action index, which is their special algorithm, their secret sauce to their report, has gone down fairly significantly into buyer's territory, meaning that it looks like it's becoming more and more a buyer's market. So last time we checked it, it was at 43, which was 521, and before that we checked it and it was 55, and it was 44 at that time on 55. Now it's at 38. So not 100% sure how that's calculated, but this is a large company that most of the title companies in town are using. So I would assume that their analytics are pretty reliable. So definitely something to look at if you're thinking about selling your home. Unless you think there's going to be a substantial change in the market, then you might want to take your money off the table, to use a gambling term, and say, hey, I probably won. I probably have a significant amount of equity, which we'll talk about also in a few minutes, and maybe get that home sold, because even though things are looking pretty good right now, we still are definitely in uncharted territory where you have to be very, very aware of what's happening and expect that things could change drastically for the worse, and possibly they can continue. I mean, the government so far has done a good job at propping up the economy and having some stabilization, at least financially, if they can't get it together socially. But let's jump into the Las Vegas Realtors numbers and see what that has to tell us. So here's our first chart from the Las Vegas Realtors. Last month we had 1,703 units closed, single family homes, which is down 13.6% from the month prior. So the month prior was half a month was locked down. This data reflects a month that pretty much was from a full month of lockdown. So no surprise that the number of homes are substantially less. Should be expected. I do expect that number is going to bounce up, and this is not completely uncharted territory. And as we'll see, back in 2019, these numbers are not completely out of place. So the last time the numbers looked similar was last year, before the Las Vegas Realtors changed their name from Galvar, or the Greater Las Vegas Association. In February, we had 1,966 homes that have closed. The summer is the new spring market, which that is probably going to be true in a lot of ways just because of the great pause that just happened. So again, I do anticipate those listings are going to rise pretty rapidly, and then we'll see if the buyers come out in force to absorb those listings like we've seen in the last couple years. And one last thing I wanted to note, according to the Altos research report, the United States only has about 700,000 homes on the market, which is very, very low historically. All right, so the next statistic we're going to look at from the Las Vegas Realtors Association is the median closed price. So this is up from last month. It was 310,000, which is great to hear. Definitely a little speculation on why that is. If people are just buying a little bit more expensive home, possibly getting that extra bedroom to make an office out of it. Maybe it's California money coming and driving the prices up. But regardless, The median close price was up 1.6% from last month, and it is up 5% year over year. So very encouraging statistics. And this might be an indicator that the government's narrative that this is a health crisis, not a financial crisis, could very well hold to be true. But we will definitely hold our breath a little bit and see for ourselves. And the next chart we're going to look at leads us to believe that we are being told one thing and we're going to actually experience another. Even though we're getting some very good news, there's a lot of conflicting news. Here's an article that says delinquency rates remain at very, very low rates. It's only 3.6% of mortgages were in some stage of delinquency, the same as February, so those numbers haven't increased. And according to CoreLogic, we're at a 27-month low in delinquencies, and which is great. I mean, it means people have options to get out of their home if they want to, and it means they probably have savings, so they've gotten through the coronavirus pretty safely. But I don't think these numbers are taking into account the forbearances. Last time I read, forbearances was about 8% of total U.S. mortgages. And this article does also allude to that some of the places that are most susceptible to financial problems are those areas that are involved with tourism and entertainment. And obviously, we are heavily dependent on those industries. So let's take a look at Nevada's unemployment numbers. So in March, we were sitting at very low unemployment, 6.3%. Right in April, we were sitting at 28.2%. It's come down a little bit as things have reopened, which is great. We love to hear that. And now we're sitting at somewhere around 25.3% of unemployment. So again, just putting all these things together, I suspect that prices potentially will come down, but it's very, very hard to tell for sure. All among getting some good news that the Pro Bowl is going to be held at the Raider Stadium next year. So we're getting some fantastic news. And I know a lot of people are pinning their home value on the Raiders Stadium being successful. And my personal opinion is the national overall economy is going to outweigh any entertainment venue, because at the end of the day, for people to travel here and go to those Raider games, obviously first they have to be open, number one. And number two, it's always going to be discretionary income. So if the economy is doing well, then people will travel here, and while they're here, they will enjoy a game. But I don't think if the economy is in rough shape, it will necessarily be a massive draw in its own. But again, just getting so much conflicting news, good and bad. But it is exciting that the Raiders Stadium potentially is going to host the Pro Bowl next year. So in the month of May, as the country was coming out of the lockdowns, there were 3,231 new listings that hit the market, or new single-family homes, which was up 28.4% from the prior month, which is understandable. Some of that pent-up demand is starting to show itself. People that were too uncertain to put their homes on the market the months prior, makes sense they would start coming to the market now. I take it that there's probably more people in those shoes. So again, we'll see how drastically the listing numbers increase. But surprisingly, we're still down 29.7% from the year prior. All right, so the next set of numbers we're going to look at is single family homes that are available on the market with no offers. And as I said at the beginning of this market report, that when we look at the Altos data numbers, that they were going to be a little different, but the story is about the same. We said there was about 4,200 homes on the market, or at least that's what the report was telling us, the Altos data. This information from the Las Vegas Realtors is saying 5,799 homes are currently available in May, down 4% from the month prior, and down 26.2% from the year prior. So even though these numbers are higher, they're still down from last month, which is, again, kind of the same narrative. Still low inventory, fairly low months of supply. And if we look at the little chart over here, the little graph chart, we can see the last time we had inventory in this range was at the end of 2018, which was still a strong seller's market. The market was slowing, and you can see as the inventory rose, but unless we get a much higher inventory than what we've got right now, we still don't really have any significant problems in the market. So let's move on. Next set of numbers we're going to look at is months of supply. And I think this is one of the most telling numbers out there, because it's just the basic rule of supply and demand. It doesn't get much simpler than that. If supply continues to raise and the demand does not meet the supply, then prices are going to decrease. Right now we have 3.4 months of supply. Like I said on the Altos report, it's headed to buyer's territory consistently, but still pretty solidly in seller's territory. So again, if there's more than 6 months of supply, then it becomes a buyer's market. And actually, increased supply for right now is not actually a bad thing. It just means it might incentivize buyers to get out into the market with the hope that they actually might be able to find that unique home that suits their needs and their personality and that they're going to love, without having very, very few options to choose from. So 3.4 months of inventory as of now, and then that's up 11.1% from the prior month. And again, not necessarily bad in itself, depending on how much that inventory goes up and how many homes are absorbed. And we are up 42.2% from the prior year. Again, not necessarily bad, but a number that we have to keep a very close eye on. And they're saying that last month, 66.4% of homes closed in less than 30 days. So that's awesome, awesome news. If you're a seller, that means you're not going to have months and months of people looking at your home. And it will depend on the price range you're in, but it is great to know that you can get your home sold most likely relatively quickly. And that is actually down a little bit from last month. Again, people probably pricing their homes appropriately to get them sold. And it's up a little bit from the year prior, where things were just really, really flying off the shelf. But again, really, really nice to know you can get your home sold in less than 30 days. Since obviously when you're selling, you're going through a lot anyway. And the uncertainty of not knowing when your home is going to sell is one of the biggest problems, or one of the biggest concerns that sellers have. So this should give you some reassurance that your home most likely will sell very quickly. So that wraps up your June market report. A lot to take in, a lot of positives and some definite question marks. And I'm wondering, what do you think is going to happen with the market? Do you think the market will continue to go up because of the very low interest rates that are out there and our attractive home prices in Nevada? Or do you think the market will go down because of our high unemployment rates? Are you excited about having the Pro Bowl here next year at Raiders Stadium? If you are, give me a Raiders down in the comments. And also, please let me know what you'd like me to cover. I love doing real estate videos. I love learning about the market. And I'm here to share that information and knowledge with you, so you don't have to spend the time and dedication that I put into knowing the market and researching it. Also, wanted to let you know, if you're looking to buy or sell, let me know. I'm going to take care of my clients no matter what. If they're looking to buy, we're going to drive a very hard bargain and try to get a very, very good deal. And we can also find those homes that are going to be instant equity for you. I have a great contractor. Typically, those are homes that need a little work. So I have a great contractor that I can refer to you, and we can put that equity into your home immediately. Or if you want to buy the beautiful new shiny home, we can also find that. But we're going to definitely try to drive a hard bargain for you. If you're looking to sell, let me know. I can get you top dollar on the resale market. I can also buy your home outright, cash, close in 10 days. Happy to help you with that. So again, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up, smash that like button as they say, and subscribe to the channel. Give me any feedback that you have about the market and what you think, any videos you'd like me to cover in the future. And thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I love real estate, and I want to share that information with you. So without you, this channel is not possible. So I'll see you next time. Thanks.